I want you to transport yourself to Goiania, Brazil. It is September 13th, 1987. In the center of the city stands an abandoned building. It used to be a radiotherapy clinic, the Goiano Institute of Radiotherapy. The doctors moved out years ago, but they left something behind. A heavy, lead-lined machine used to treat cancer. Two local scrap metal scavengers, Roberto dos Santos and Wagner Moda, break into the ruins. They don't know what the machine is. They only see metal, stainless steel, lead, money. They use wheelbarrows to haul the heavy, rotating assembly out of the clinic. They take it to Roberto's backyard. It is a hot day. They start hitting it with sledgehammers, trying to break it apart to sell the scrap. They eventually crack open the lead casing. Inside, they find a small capsule. They manage to puncture the capsule's window. And that is when the nightmare begins. Inside the capsule, they see a deep, beautiful blue light. It is glowing. It looks magical. It looks valuable. They think they have found something precious, maybe a new type of gemstone, or maybe something supernatural. They scoop out the glowing powder. It looks like salt, but it shines in the dark. What they had actually found was Cesium-137. Cesium-137 is a highly radioactive isotope produced by nuclear fission. It emits powerful gamma rays. It is used to kill cancer cells because it destroys DNA on contact. Usually, it is shielded by inches of lead, but now it was open. Within hours, both men began to vomit. Their hands swelled up. They felt dizzy. They assumed it was food poisoning. They blamed the mangoes they ate for lunch. They continued to work on the machine, dismantling the only thing protecting the city from a nuclear disaster. 5 days later, the men sold the pieces to a scrapyard owned by a man named Dever Alves. Dever was fascinated by the blue glow. He was convinced it was valuable. He brought the capsule into his house. He turned off the lights. He called his neighbors and family to come see the magic stone. This is the most tragic part of the story. The cesium powder was easily dispersible. It was like glitter. Dever's brother, Ivo, scraped some of the dust out. He took it home. He sprinkled it on the floor so it would look like stardust. His 6-year-old daughter, Leide das Neves, was playing on the floor. She sat in the dust. She was enchanted by the glow. She rubbed the radioactive powder on her body like makeup. Then, she ate a sandwich. She ingested the cesium directly into her stomach. Meanwhile, Dever's wife, Gabriela, noticed something was wrong. Everyone who visited the house was getting sick. Her husband was losing his hair. Her friends were vomiting. She suspected the magic stone was evil. She packed the capsule into a plastic bag. She got on a public bus. Imagine that. A woman riding a crowded city bus carrying a nuclear core in a shopping bag. She walked into a hospital and slammed the bag on the doctor's desk. She said, "This is killing my family." The doctor, suspicious, used a Geiger counter. The counter didn't just click. It screamed. The needle went off the scale. The doctor realized the entire hospital was now contaminated. He shouted for everyone to evacuate. The magic stone was actually a nuclear bomb that had exploded in slow motion. The government declared a state of emergency. They realized the cesium had spread everywhere. It was on the money. It was on the bus. It was on the clothes of everyone who attended the party. They used the Olympic Stadium in Goiania as a triage center. 112,000 people were screened for radiation. They found 249 people who were heavily contaminated. The cleanup was brutal. Houses were demolished. Topsoil was removed. Clothes, furniture, and family photos were seized and buried in concrete. The victims were isolated in lead-lined hospital rooms. They were treated by nurses wearing hazmat suits who were terrified to touch them. But for little Leide das Neves, it was too late. The 6-year-old girl who had eaten the stardust became a symbol of the tragedy. She was so radioactive that the hospital staff had to use a remote-controlled crane to move her bed. Her family couldn't hug her. They could only watch through a thick glass window as her organs failed. When she died, she was buried in a lead coffin weighing 1,000 pounds. At her funeral, the locals rioted. They threw stones at the coffin. They were terrified that her body would poison the cemetery ground. They didn't understand. They were just scared. In Goiania, 4 people died immediately and hundreds suffered from radiation burns. Dever Alves survived the radiation but died of guilt years later. The scrap hunters saw value, not danger. The radiation symbol meant nothing to them. They were drawn to the deadly, magical blue glow, like moths to a flame. Today, the site is concrete, but the city's psychological scar remains. Curiosity kills. Don't touch the blue light. Subscribe.